Hey, everyone. I am Dr. Chris Sargent. Welcome to the Spark Faith podcast. And I'm here today with Danielle Morrison, and we are going to have a great conversation about love and grace and peace and a cool business that she's into for the last 5 years that does good all across the globe. So fun and interesting. And I just want to give a shout out to Jill at Jeans and a Cute Top Shop, as always, for providing me with the cutest tops ever. And I just love her. And so welcome, Danielle. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. This is going to be so much fun today. She always has the best red lipstick on. I don't know what color she wears. I don't know what manufacturer it is, but
I have too many colors. Too many colors. If there's one thing that someone could open up my, makeup box, they'd be like, oh, you have one of this, one of that, and 27 of the lipsticks. So I blame it on my days of cheerleading. I'll just say that.
Oh, well, you know what? I think that lipstick, for me as a blonde, lipstick and eyebrows, if I can do a little lipstick and some eyebrows, I look like I'm kind of put together, even without anything else. So I get the lipstick thing.
Yeah. And this has been a hard season with masks and everything going on. I think people are like, is Danielle okay? Because we really can't see what's happening underneath. Like, does she have lipstick on underneath there and she's just hiding it? Is it a murder scene when she takes her mask off? Nobody knows. But yeah, I don't think there's ever been a day that I haven't went somewhere with, lipstick, not because I feel like I have to have it. It's just been a part of me. It's part of my personality, I think.
Me too.
But yeah, the mask season has definitely been a little different. So.
Oh yeah, and you take them off and it's just covered.
Yes.
Like so many times, like, oh, I'm getting out of the car, put my lipstick on, and I'm like, ah.
Yep.
I need some good lipstick. All right, we are actually going to have a substantive conversation here, although lipstick is important. Let's face it. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about your family. Tell us who you are. Tell us about your business. Go for it.
Awesome. I am Danielle, of course, but I'm your small town, love to connect kind of person. I'm the bubbly girl that always likes to make people laugh and just kind of have that emotional intelligence to kind of feel out the room, kind of see what needs to be added in or taken away. Sometimes that's a bad gift to have. But I love people. I went to a small high school. I was married before for 10 years and went through quite the divorce. I had 2 kiddos from my first husband, and then I met my second husband, and we have 2 together. So we have 4. So our house is busy. It is very busy. My kiddos have all different personalities, ranging from 12 to 5. But I also work as a pharmacy tech. I've been doing that for almost 15 years, and I love that job. And I think when people see me in business online, but they also see me in the pharmacy, they're almost thinking like, why hasn't she given one up? And I love that I can have an escape. I think some people, and I've done the stay at home, I've had the stay at home mom life and I loved it, but I am not Susie Homemaker. I am not Crafty Kathy. It was not placed inside me. I don't make noodles on Wednesday and I don't make cupcakes on Friday. But I do, I have a really good core parenting of like, I want you to be good people. I want you to inspire people, shine your light into the world. That's what my mom always said to me. So I think having my job and not wanting to let go of it, and I like fast pace, and that's definitely a fast paced job. But it gives me an escape. It lets me close the door away from children, my husband, my online business, and go do something else that I'm good at. Yes. Adulting. And you have your social aspect. I mean, you work with people at work and then you come home, and then I'm really good about shutting things off quickly. I don't try to drag too much from one to the other. I know some women feel like, oh my gosh, my job is just so overwhelming, and they take that home, and then their husband makes them mad, and then they take that to work. And it's like, they're transitioning all these feelings back and forth. They forget their place in each little box. Their role. And they forget how much potential they can share into each one, because it's just all over the place. Band-aid over Band-aid over Band-aid.
That is so wise.
And they forget their skin. You know what I mean? They forget the skin that they're in. But yeah, I've been doing that. My husband farmed for a really long time. So that was interesting because when you think of like what kind of man you want to be with when you're growing up, I never thought I would be like, I'm going to be a farmer's wife. I'm going to make meals and give out Gatorades and hop in the truck and go. But we did that for a little bit. And he's such a hard worker. I think he can fix anything. So I love that. Love the handyman aspect. He loves God. His morals are good. So going from what I had in the past to finding, someone that just met all the check boxes, it's so good. And it's so good for our family. And I'm at a place now where I can have, businesses online and work and just kind of make it a little bit less stressful because he is so supportive. And I know some women don't have that. And that's a big thing about like, what can I do in this world? Where's my support system? And not saying that everyone has to have a man, but when you do have a man and they are supportive, it's 100 times easier than trying to fight that battle and try to hide who you are a little bit because you don't know the repercussions you'll have from your spouse if you decide to share that. So I think when we talk about grace and business and with our, spouses, it's important. Grace across the board. And I'm glad that we're talking about that today. I think it needs to be there and people need to know the importance of what God has given us just through that word alone.
Preach, honey.
But yeah, no, it means so much to me. And I think
my gosh, I can
when we had
feel
spoke
that.
before, like, it's just, I feel like grace is like one of those things that people just put on a t-shirt anymore, like the thankful, graceful, blessed, all those things. It's like, really sit with that and sit with all the words, really.
This is not a hashtag,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Sit with all the words really that are just thrown out there so easily, like thankful. What is that really meaning? Blessed. What does that really mean to you? Grace, and I like it. And, I do. So speaking of online businesses, I've been with Sseko Designs for 5 years, and it's an ethical fashion company, and we're creating opportunities for women globally. So we have women here. It's a network marketing business, but we're kind of rewriting the rules of it. We just want to share a really good mission, from person to person, connecting, building our communities. But we also, have products to sell that create an impact. So it's easy. We used to be in boutiques and our message just wasn't getting out there. And our founder was like, how can we make this better? How can we make it better? How can more people learn about our story and what we're doing? And it was just women. Women need to be in spaces with other women. People crave that community so much, whether we think it or not. Even if we're introverted, we still crave some kind of community. Oh, yeah. And when you put like a good story with it and adding something to your life that you can buy, it was just a full circle of like, yes, this is it. So then it became, a direct sales model, but I've loved it. I joined kind of on the ground. There was 53 of us, and there's over 2,000 of us now. So we're still kind of on the ground in terms of network companies that have millions of women. We're growing at such a good rate where we're not oversaturated because the women that join our community really know the purpose of why they're there. So we have a scholarship program. So whenever the girls in Uganda come to work at the workshop, because we partner with a school, so they come and work at the workshop for 9 months, because there's a 9-month gap in Uganda from whenever they graduate high school and go to university. And in that time frame, they're thrown out in their villages. You make the money. If you can make the money, go to college. If not, no one's sending you there. And a lot of those jobs get taken by the men super fast. The women are supposed to be at the homes, and there's just so much trafficking going on, and poverty, is right up at the top. But just the opportunities that these women have, or their potential, is just squashed. It's squashed like old bologna in a sandwich. And it's just like, we're trying to be like, no, we've got lettuce, tomato, onion for you, babe. Come over at the workshop and, we've got something for you. So they work for us for 9 months, and they have to put 50% of their earnings into a savings account. We kind of lock that up. They can put more in there if they want to, but we match that at the end of their 9-month gap, and we match it by like 400%.
That's what I saw.
So
when I was reading your
amazing.
online, I was shocked.
Yep. Because, and some, when I'm doing my parties, some women are like, well, why don't you just give it all to them? It's like, well, they're so in that giving mode because they know their families need help. they know there's someone that they can give to, and they're just so driven by community and love that, you know, if they have money, they're more willing to give it to someone than to help themselves. So this just kind of makes it like we have this for
It
you,
forces them
but you
to learn
can't
how to
have
take
it.
care of it forces
Yes.
them to take care of themselves, right?
Yep.
Sorry to
Financial
interrupt, but
responsibility. Absolutely. And so,
that's a
and they're young
skill.
girls. They're young girls, and the skills, and there's so many things that we give them along with just a job, but they're learning to sew. We make leather bags, leather sandals. We were on Shark Tank in 2015. So if anyone is like, oh, Sseko Designs, I feel like I've heard this, it might be that show. So that was just, you know, a great opportunity for exposure. They obviously didn't bite, but I think that was a pivotal moment. And like, people love this. They love to shop for good. And one of the reasons I decided to join is because that was the first thing I was like, I bought a pair of sandals from an online show, and I really didn't pay attention to the online show. I mean, we get invited to those left and right. Let's be honest. Sometimes we ignore it. Sometimes we go. And I'm one of those women that I really want to be supportive to my friends. I'm like, sure, invite me. Sure, invite me. Bubbly Danielle is going to show up. But I was so busy during this party. And I think it was God's way of making me notice it more in a way, which sounds kind of like an oxy, you know, whatever. But I was so busy, and my friend messaged me and she reminded me of the show. And she's like, hey, I know, you know, if you want to chime in, buy something, you know, come on over.
Come on.
So I just took a little gander, and I saw a picture of sandals, and you can tie them a million different ways. And I thought, yep, I'm a shoe girl as much as I'm a lipstick girl. Like, let's put that in the cart. So I gave her my information, which you should probably never do, but I was just so busy. And I was like, if you can do all this for me, sure, I'll buy from your party. But anyway, I get them in the mail like 2 days later, and I'm opening them up and I'm all excited because it's new shoes, you know. But I see a story card, and then I see that there was a handwritten sign name on the tag of my sandals. And I thought, I missed something. Like, this didn't come in a box full of plastic. They don't smell like plastic. This isn't my normal purchase from an online party. And so I'm reading about it, and then I'm going on like Google search 9,000. And I'm not a researcher. I'm really not. Not that I let everybody else tell me what to do, but something inside me was like, you kind of need to look at this a little bit more. Well, I went back to the party page and I found our founder's video, cried my eyes out as she was talking about going to Uganda when she was 22 years old, completely left her career. And I was just like, who does that? At 22, I was worried about boys and the hot mess that I was in, not trying to change the world. You know what I mean? But you're never too old to take that step to try to make a difference.
Never.
But I was engulfed in the inspiration that I was feeling. And I watched it with my husband. I was talking to him. I was like, this is so different. I was like, I'm no stranger to direct sales at all. It's been around since my mom had an Avon lady, and I was dabbling in Mary Kay. And, you know, I said, I'm no stranger at all to what this is. But I said, this is different. And then I found out if I, you know, joined, I could be matched with a girl in Uganda, and we could write to each other. We got videos. It was more of the connection piece. I think that was like the icing on the cake. Like, my little pen pal, 10-year-old self was like beaming, like, oh my gosh, like, I can write a letter. I'm going to get one back, and it's halfway across the world. And I just want to know more. I want to know more. I never grew up to learn how to shop with purpose or shop ethically. I was your Dollar General. If it was 50 cents, I'm buying every single color because it's 50 cents. You know what I mean? Or you go somewhere and you're like, oh, I love this blouse and I need it in purple and pink. And, you know, and I've been open to knowing that quality versus quantity really matters, and where you buy your stuff ethically, sustainably. I think it's a shift, and you can see how big of a shift it is. You know, if you're on Instagram, or if someone buys something, they're more out to share it if it has a story behind it, if they know exactly who made it. So that's kind of been my passion for the past 5 years. And I would have 5 years ago, if you would have asked me, like, do you want to change the world? Do you want to try to put a stamp and shine your light in different areas to have a purpose? I'd probably be like, nope, I'm good counting 5, 10, 15, 20 on your Vicodin prescription, but have a good day, Nancy. You know, I think that's what I would have never, you know, thought of that. So I'm glad that I was open. But yeah, there's definitely, I think there's challenges in anything we do. And the more you're in a business, I have a team of over 100 women. And it comes with different personalities, different backgrounds, different views. And, if you're a faithful woman and you lead by faith and you pray over your business, grace just seems to trickle back in, because there will be people that try to darken, your faith when you attach it to certain things. And it can get emotional, but I think grace definitely needs to be there. And you have to remember, like, why did I start initially? It wasn't to impress, anybody. It was because I knew in my heart that I could do something, and the Lord is with me, and we can make a difference. So I think that's good. That's just really good.
So, I just love your story. And I think, let's bring that faith piece in for just a minute, because the founder also strong Christian, right?
Yes.
I heard her speak at Global Leadership Summit
last
a year ago, August,
yes,
2019, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was part of a spiritual awakening for me that particular weekend.
Oh, wow.
Which I don't even know if you knew, but so the story, long story short, because this interview is about you, long story short, I had been very strong faith. Faith is one of my top 3 gifts. And so it always just was very, of course, kind of around my faith, until I got divorced. And I got really, really angry with God around my divorce time. And I experienced a huge lack of grace, which is how our conversation started the other day. And I had just stayed mad at God. I was like, nope, you don't want to protect me. You don't want to be there for me. Fine. I got this on my own.
Right.
Until, God knows how to speak to each of us in our voice, right? He speaks to you different than me. I would never understand what he's trying to say to you, but I understand what he's trying to say to me. And the one place that he knew he could speak to me was through my business, because it's always been such a huge part of me.
Part of your life. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I had my business before I had my kids. So I've had a business since I was 28. I came out of chiropractic school and started my practice. I didn't,
wow.
I didn't.
So you had always owned your own.
I've always
space.
Worked for myself.
You didn't work for someone else. You were like, this is me. Yep. I love that.
Yeah. I worked for somebody when I was in chiropractic school for $25 a week. Not even kidding.
Wow.
Because
that
of the
salad. Here's your salad.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, here's your salad. Oh gosh.
But the reason was that I knew the information that I was getting out of being around his practice and his wife who ran the practice. Like, I got both sides, right? The clinical side and the practical business side. So it was totally worth it. Anyway, and I'm actually very grateful.
Yeah.
For Dr. Mitchell, because he set me straight in business. Anyway, so faith had always been just this giant piece of my life until this particular time. And so I knew as a friend of mine had given me a ticket to the Global Leadership Summit. And I was like, oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you. Yeah, this is going to be great. It's always inspirational. This will be fun. That's how I looked at these 2 days, right?
Right.
By the end of I can't talk about it. By the end of the first day, I was a blubbering mess. I had no makeup left.
Oh,
and I went home and literally fell on my face in my bedroom floor.
You're gonna make me ruin all my makeup. No, it's good. It's good.
And just like gave it all up to him, and just like apologized, and was grateful for his grace in staying with me all these years that I was such a jerk. But I had made, looking back, like, oh, maybe if I had paid attention to him, I wouldn't have made all these horrific decisions over the last 8 years, right? So we're all good now. And
love
better
that.
than before, actually.
What was it that stood out into your mind? Because Liz she's one of my good friends, and she has helped me through so much as being a fellow in Sseko Designs. Because, there's always going to be challenges and things that, make you want to grow, but you kind of fight it. And you're like, why do I have to do this? If it's, being told to me, or, she's just been always open to just share whatever is on your heart. She's very good at like, well, why do you feel this way? Or, let me give you another page to that. Let me shine a light on how I can kind of give perspective and intent and impact and all that. And you just kind of take a hold of it a little bit easier because you trust her opinion and you trust where she's been in life. She has a book too. It's called Beginner's Pluck. And it is amazing. If you ever purchase that book, just read the last chapter even, and you'll be a sobbing mess. But it's just so good to know that her, like what she had presented that day, made you be inspired to reach out and just to be thankful of that grace, because she's given me that in more ways than one, even if she doesn't realize it. But she's like that in our community. And I think we all look up to her, and she's very active. She's not a CEO that you never see and just signs your paycheck. She has these, what's called family meetings, and she'll pop into our Facebook page, and she's just so open about things. And I think that's why our community is small, but I guess you could say mighty. I mean, we definitely have some pieces that are, you have to work through when you're in business, but if it wasn't for her, I would say I probably would have made a change earlier on if I didn't have that connection with her and her faith and knowing where she came from, what her true passion is. So that's good.
Yeah. For me, when I was listening to her, it was her young age. It was her boldness. It was the pluck that, like, that's it's a hook, and it's true. Right. Like,
yes.
It's perfect marketing, like from that perspective, like, oh yeah, I wish I thought of that. right But at the same time, it's also like it bubbles up out of her. It's so much a part of her boldness and her fearlessness, I guess. And that's what I saw. And the willing to step off the cliff and just know that stare is going to be there. So that was her. Yeah. And I don't know if you're familiar with Jo Saxton. Ready to Rise.
Yes. Yep. Because she had shared things whenever that Global Leadership Summit was going on. Some of us went to like a remote.
Okay. So you were there.
Watch
oh my gosh.
So, but yeah. And then I think she had her on her podcast. I want to say she did, but yeah, she's just, another bright light that you are just so contagiously connected to, and you want more of it. You want more, like your favorite piece of chocolate. It's like, okay, I had them, and you know how you feel. And then she's like, okay, I need another piece. It's good to know women like that.
It is. And I think that's, like for you and I, like if we can take what we get from them and then project it out into our space and our people, and then we can grow it from there too. Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think, just being in business and having that, I think there's a stigma around you just have to be perfect. You can't mess up. You decided to have a business. You decided to run it. Like, don't you dare, step on the crack that breaks your business's back. Like, don't do it. Because and you feel like so many people are watching you. You have to be expectant and all the things. And it's like, no, I think there's a really good time where we can be vulnerable and be like, you know what, this is what happened in my business, or this is the roadblock that I'm facing, or evilness is coming over me and it's hard to find God in my business right now. It is so important to remind ourselves that is okay. Like, it is okay to feel all those things. You don't have to be perfect. And I think you'll have more of your community being responsive to that openness of saying like, okay, she doesn't always have it figured out. I'm more attracted to that now. Like, okay. Because if you just always follow those that just seem to always have it together, you're never going to know who you are. No matter if you're
not only
business,
that, but you never measure
a parent.
Up.
Yes. And I think it's the same with parenting. I mean, I said I had 4 kids, and I know you've got, it's just like, well, am I doing the right thing? Everyone's posting on Facebook that they've got beautiful cookies. And like I said earlier, I'm not crafty Kathy. And I think that was one thing I battled with, is like, if I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, I have to do this. We have to have this criteria. And my planner needs to be like, did laundry at 9:30. Then you washed dishes at 10:30. No, I don't write anything down. And I don't want my kids to live by that either, but that's my style. And I think as women, as moms, we need to know what our style is and just stay true to it. Can we always grow? Absolutely. Can we always try to fix things that might not be always good?
Working.
Sure. But yeah, working. And it's just, giving grace in parenthood too it's important. It's just important for you as a woman to know that grace is out there. You have to be willing to give what is bogging you down of your full potential. Just give it to God. You have to pray it out. You have to release it out. He's there with his arms wide open, like, okay, what do you got for me today? Is it a plastic bag? Is it a luggage? What is it? Because here are my arms and I will carry it for you. And that if you just learn to do that, you'll see yourself flourish in parenting. You'll see yourself flourish in business, wherever you shine your light. And I think that's why some people probably wonder why I'm so happy, or why is she so bubbly, or she's always got some little remark to say. She's always, and it's just like, because I don't care. Not that I don't care what I say to people, but it's just like, I am okay being happy, because I know at the end of the day, if I had a bad moment, I'm going to release that out. I'm going to talk to my husband about it. I'm going to release it out. I'm going to pray about, like, why was I so angry today? What made me feel like that? Or why did I feel like such a bad parent? Why was I yelling? What did I do wrong? But I think if you can do that, you will live a better life, no matter where your footprints are. You will. You just will.
So much happier. You said something a few minutes ago about, and this is part of what my whole podcast, like part of the reason that I started it was, I feel like when people see us, particularly other women, we are so critical and self-critical. We have such weirdly high perfectionistic expectations of each other and of ourselves, right? There's this very high level of judgment. And when we find ourselves judging ourselves, we're also judging others, because we're doing this comparison thing, right? So we've got this perfection, comparison, like this is all the Brene Brown stuff.
Yeah, I love Brene Brown.
That goes against our authenticity, right? But that's what you said, like, if you can just let that go, and people look at us and they say, oh, those ladies, Danielle, man, she has got it all together. Look at her. She even put her red lipstick on today, and she's got this cute outfit and great earrings and like all the things, right? So you're one of those people that people look at and go, oh, she's got it all together. But you and I have both sat here and said, so not true.
No. My daughter is in the other room watching Grease Lightning, and we all know that there's things in Grease that probably a 5-year-old should not, but she just loves this song so much. And I think she tries to figure out the line of the last song, the Rama Lama Lama, kitty kitty. She's like, what are they saying? It's like some kind of magic words. No, but yeah, we don't. And I'm okay with it. And I think the past couple years have been like an okay to like share that. Like, it's, share that. We need that. Everyone's be your authentic self and share your truth. And I think even with us saying that so much, people still don't. They'll put a little bit out there,
pretty
like,
truth.
This is my authentic self. I messed up today. It's like, no. Like sometimes the ugly, I shared about my divorce one time to my community, and my ex-husband was on drugs, and he was, alcohol was involved, and my oldest was 2, like 1.5, 2, when it just got just a little bit too much. But I wasn't raised like that. So I quickly learned that I was the woman. I want to shine my light on you, not even being married to you, but I just want you to be a good person. Like, come to church with me. Don't do drugs. Don't do this. Let's get a job. And it was just like, why am I doing this over and over and over and not getting anything back? It's like, I just wanted so much for him. And there was finally a point I was like, nope, this is, I cannot do this anymore. And I had found out that I was pregnant like a couple weeks after leaving him. And you think, oh my gosh, you're pregnant again. That would have been the time to just keep staying, keep trying to work it out. And I remember asking my mom, I was like, I need your help. And I talked to my pastor and I prayed, and I was like, I don't want to go back. And I don't have to. I don't have to live a life like that shadows my faith, shadows who I want to be by my side for my whole life. I don't have to live in that anymore. And so when I meet women that, are going through abuse, or, they're just having sticky situations, even though it took me 10 years to leave, I feel like I have really good advice to just inspire those, like, your life's not over. I don't care if you're 78 and you're trapped in a bad relationship. your life is not over and you're worth so, so much more. But I shared that. It's just like, if I could just inspire one woman out there, if you're in my VIP and you love leather and, you love our impact and what I share about Uganda, awesome. But I'm also going to share with you that it isn't perfect. I'm not perfect. I had moments of way unperfectness, but we can do better and we can realize who we are as a person and what God has given us. And if that moves us forward to freedom of all the things, I'll share it over and over again. And I think that authentic truth is good. And more women need to tap into that, because you can learn from other people's, experiences. 100%.
Yeah,
So,
agreed. And you're lucky that your church really supported you in that, right?
mhm.
When I got divorced, I didn't have that kind of support from my church, and was told what a horrible person I was and how God hates divorce. And there was no grace, and there was no love, and there was no support around any of that. And it was so disheartening to have that number of women tell me that.
Yeah.
And how, well, God hates divorce, and so for me, God must hate me too.
Right.
And one of the things out of the deluge of things that he had been trying to teach me, and they all kind of came to fruition this year over the last, whatever,
Yeah.
16, 17 months. One of the things that I got to see about God is that he really loves our messy. He loves us
Mhm.
in all of our messy parts. And it's like what you also just said, like, you can bring a little plastic baggie of stuff, or maybe you're bringing the whole Louis Vuitton collection
Yes.
of junk, right? To him on any given day or any given moment. And he's going to love us, and he sees us as perfect because of Christ. And that was what made such a huge difference for my self-esteem and for being able to actually sit here on this podcast, is that I realized that as imperfect as I am, I've yelled at my 90-year-old mom who lives with me. I've yelled at my children. I've not been nice to everybody, like, being real, right?
Right.
And yet God forgives and loves, and we give it up at the end of the day, like you said, and you bring it to him, and he's like, it's okay. You're perfect in my eyes. Because
And that's
Christ
all
is
that
standing
matters,
in that.
really.
Mhm.
That's all that matters. All this
Yeah,
added stuff into our life, the jobs that we have, the people that we're with. I hope that it's leading us to him. You know what I mean? And there's a lot that masks that for people that maybe haven't found God, or just maybe, had kind of like a similar situation for you. You had him in your life and then you didn't, and then you found him and you opened your heart to him again. But I just think if we want faith to be there, we have to know what is in our life that's good for it, and release what's not, and be okay with that. Be okay with letting people go, be okay with letting the shame go, all the things, because he gives us that grace to do it.
absolutely. And that
So,
grace, if we can pass that grace on to other people, around, like, particularly right now, let's hit the hot button, right? Politics.
yes. Yep.
Let's hit the hot button, race. Let's hit the hot button, gender. We have this big gender war out there. And I think just loving people and bringing in our own grace, is what's going to, in the long run, actually make and create more peace. Like, I really believe that if Christians can tap into that, we can make such a difference,
Yes.
and not trying to continue to be the judge. And
Yep,
that's what my,
not our
both of my
job. Yep.
kids, both of my kids are questioning their faith. They're teenagers, and I fully expect it, and I'm fine with it. And part of what they've seen is judgy Christians. They know my stand on it. They understand where the Bible stands on it. And yet when you see it play out, it's like, yeah, but that's
it's the
they
whole
have,
actions speak louder than words thing,
right?
and we have to be the actions that kind of not change their mind, but really see like what the true love of God is. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And it's hard, especially with kids. Like my daughter's 12, so I don't even want to think about the teenage years, and I know I was a teenager once. So
if you can remember
that would be a whole new segment.
No, you know what? Honestly, I just think back and constantly put myself in her shoes, right? I'm an angsty 17-year-old artist, creative, beautiful human, who questions the world. And I allow for those questions that I wasn't allowed to always ask. So when we put ourselves in their shoes, it just makes it so much easier. And when they roll their eyes at you, you're like, ah, honey, I taught you how to do that. I am the queen of eye rolling. Are you kidding me? That's all you can do. That's all you got.
That is so funny.
Keep the humor around it, really, because if you look at them, they're just charming and adorable and angsty. And
if you break away all the other things, it's like
it's not about us.
It's still you. And yeah, it's definitely not about us at all. Yeah. Gosh, that is hard. Yeah. And to say that we love all people and that we truly want the best for them, it's like, you can't say that. Like, oh, did you do a little bit of research on why you love everyone? I don't have to do research because it's in here. It's in my heart. It's in my heart to love everyone. I see you in all, what you bring to the table in my life. And as long as you're treating me well, and even those that don't treat me well, I still give them grace. I'm like, okay, there's something behind you that made you do this, or there's something that you're still dragging along that makes you view this. It's like, but I still love you and I don't want anything to happen to you. And if you say that to a certain, community of people, they like, well, that's just the easy thing for her to say. It's like, no, I actually mean it. And my actions back it up. And so, that's why I love that word, actions speak louder than words, because I will not only tell you, but I will show you in more ways than one. And that's on you if you want to actually believe me or not, because I don't have to make you believe me. That's on you. And, and if someone knows my heart any better, it's number one man upstairs. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. He knows where I stand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And hang on, go away. Okay. I think that, one of the places that you disclosed to me is that parenting is challenging for you. And what I see from my perspective is amazing. So
we try to be fun. We are definitely the fun family, but there are moments where not that I lose myself, but I'm just like, I'm going to freak out. I need to go to Walmart and walk every single aisle for about 5 minutes and I'll come back because I don't know what's happening. And I feel like everyone's attacking. It's like no one's in order. Everything's everywhere. And you have to repeat yourself over and over. And it's like, I'm losing my mind. But then, we'll have good moments, of course. But I think, it's just one of those things that you want your kids to grow up and not have a story to tell. Because I think everybody,
impossible,
no matter who you are, when you get to a certain age and you're around the dinner table or with your spouse, be like, I remember when my mom would yell, or I remember when my dad would just put us in the corner. And I remember when it's like, what was there any good things? Like what was the fun things? Can you say something like, oh yeah, I remember when my mom put on a snow frosty hat and danced in the kitchen. Okay, that's what we want to share. But it's just like you're so worried about what they'll share negatively because we've heard that ourselves growing up through friends.
Well, and that's what we're working through too, right? Like we're working through our own stories, right? We're working through our own, well, my mom did this or always said that, and I feel like that affected me this way, and so I'm working through that and doing that forgiveness work on the back
trying
end,
to be
right?
better. You always want
just do it
better
different
than what you grew up as, and it's
I figured
a battle there.
You can have a college fund or you can just have a neuroses fund for your kid because at some point they're going to end up in therapy.
Yep. And that's okay. That's okay. It's
going to be different.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Parenting. Good old parenting. It's something. But, I just try to do each day as a new day. I try not to, like I said before, I'm really good at shutting things off because I don't hold grudges. I think that's part of my being able to
That's part
shut
of who
things
you
off.
are.
I can do that. It's like, okay, we had something happen. I still love you. Let's move on, but from parenting, if you have a bad day, it's like, okay, we woke up. Let's think about what we did. It's either going to be better or worse, but today is a new day. So
It
we need to
is.
be
Your
thankful for that.
compartmentalization is amazing. So, and you talked about this a little bit ago with compartmentalizing work, your pharmacy tech work, and then your mom work, and then you've got Sseko, and you're a wife
Yes.
too.
That is work. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. You know what? I don't know. You're checking all the
Lord.
qualities of your husband. I'm like, does he have an older brother? Okay.
Oh, shoot. That's awesome. No, he does not. No, I'm just kidding.
But how do you feel like did you compartmentalize by choice? Or is it part of how you were kind of put together?
I think
Or
it was
did you
because of my
consciously say,
divorce.
okay,
I think that was the moment that, because I didn't want to be, because I felt judgy, during all that. My boss, my pharmacist boss at the time, knew what was going on. Just because if I had to leave or something was going, he's like, okay, she's got a situation. But I would come to work and I just wanted to still be happy. I wanted my happy self to just shine. And it's like, okay, I'm not at home around him. So here's my place to shine it. And I'm going to do that. Nothing is going to change my mind. I'm not going to dread about it. I'm not going to think about what's happening behind the scenes. I'm going to do my work here and do it the best that I can and just be happy. And so I think I got so used to doing that and just hiding. And we talked about being vulnerable. Maybe I should have just came in and be like, my life's a mess. Oh my gosh, all this stuff. But I didn't. And, when I got home, I dealt with that at home. But it really, and then after the divorce, and I just got used to like, okay, if something upsets me, I have to recognize what upsets me. But I don't have to carry it with me all throughout my life. And I think it's good for us. Like when someone passes, someone passes away, you get in a fight with your best friend, your kids upset you. There's always going to be something. I mean, our lives are not perfect. It's designed to not be perfect. There's always going to be something. So if we get, especially as women, because we're emotional, if we carry all of that with us, like I said before, it's just going to mask what your potential is in this world. It's going to mask who you see God is, how you reach out to him. Because if you think you just got it, like, I'm emotional, it's fine, whatever. And then that's just your excuse, it's like, well, why are you emotional? And how do you deal with it? And does it carry on throughout the day? And are you asking God to help you through that? I think that's kind of a, one of those personal recognition, inspiration things that you can just, you either got it or you don't, or you want it. But yeah, I think just back from my divorce, just being able to put everything, like, this is my boxes of stuff, and it's worked for me. And I don't have to get so upset all the time about certain things. I just kind of deal with it. I know about it. So
yeah, I think there's a compartment of actually working through those things. It's not like you're shoving them down, right?
Absolutely.
It's different than shoving it
Definitely
down.
Not putting it in my back pocket and like, oh, I forgot about it. And then here 5 years later, I'm a hot mess because everything's coming out. It's like, no.
Right. That's the whole Brene Brown thing. Like, okay, yes, I can acknowledge that there's an icky part in my life. And like, it's embracing the and. That's what we say. Like, it's embracing the and. Like, I can acknowledge that there's this icky spot. It's awful. And I can sit here and be happy even with that going on.
Right.
And I'm dealing with it. I'm not shoving it down anymore.
Right. And I think it just makes us stronger too, in a sense that we have the ability to do that. When people look at us as positive people, inspiring, happy, and they find out that something isn't happy, it's like, well, how do you do that? It's because I do have strength inside me.
It's a choice
to do, yeah, absolutely. To take the choice.
It's a choice to not to not drag that I'm the victim of this particular circumstance with me all the time.
Because, there's always that one that's like, well, I had this and it's because of this. And it's like, okay, we heard it 27,000 times. Right. What are you doing? What are you doing about it? Because if it's always being brought up, what are you doing about it? How are you growing from that? What are you learning from it? Nothing.
People
It
get
just it's
stuck
a
in
repeat.
that.
It's a record on repeat of what happened to you, and you've got to see if there's one more person you can share what happened to you, because the more that you share a bad
Yep.
situation, you feel like you're going to get better, but you're not. You're just telling the same story. You're not going to the bookshelf and picking out something new. You're constantly in that.
Yep.
And that's sad. And I hate to see
Preach.
that. I hate to see that.
Preach. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been there. Like that was
Mhm.
8 years of making really horrible decisions and then being the victim of all of them. And then just being completely released from them a year ago. Like it's
Don't you feel amazing now just to be like, oh,
yeah, I do actually. And I don't think that people over the 8 years, they would never know either. But it
yeah.
was different, right? It was shoving it down, shoving it in. It's like shoving, how much can Santa shove in his bag, right? Like I just kept stuffing all the bad stuff into this bag, and happy on the outside, not dealing with the bag. Right. Last year I dumped the bag out, said, here it is, God. This is it. This is all the yucky. I've made all these horrible decisions. Let's deal with this together. And I get to be, a much more authentic person around it. And, I think I told you, my daughter had a lot to do with that. And I know I've said this story on my podcast before, but one day we were fighting and she said to me in no uncertain terms, like, Mom, sad and disappointed are normal human emotions. And she was yelling pretty much at the top of her lungs, and she was 15. And I was not feeling any of that. That was 2
You
years
had
ago.
tucked it. Yeah. You had tucked it away so far that it was just like, I don't even know.
I have no bandwidth. I'm just numb. I smile and I'm numb.
Wow.
So now coming full circle and healing and working. Yes, the stuff is still there. There's still a bag of stuff. 8 years of bad decisions, right? It takes a while to pick through that mess. And I can just be like, oh, I can be happy and I can be sad and I can cry again. And yeah.
Crying is good. Crying is so
good.
And I tell my friends, I'm like, if you ever need to cry, I'm talking about the like your face,
the ugly
is
cry.
morphed. Yes, you need that. And I always tell, like, if my friends are in bad situation, I'm like, you need to get in your car without anybody in it. You need to find a gravel road. You put on the loudest music, no matter what kind of music you like. Hopefully it's a little bit of rock in this moment, but put it on, blast it out, roll your windows down, no matter what the temperature is, and just cry in the mixture of the music. And you'll feel like you're not alone, but you're just like, it's so good. It's so good to just have a back road to do that on in whatever way it looks like in your life. Oh my goodness.
The other day,
one of my things.
I love that because I am definitely a driver and I am definitely a loud music girl. And it may be country, awesome. And it may be disco, and it may be rock. It could be just about anything.
Yep. Eclectic. I like that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think, the other night I got very frustrated there's a dynamic between my mom and my daughter and myself all living in the same house. And I was like, the top of my head, like the little emoji,
yeah,
the head exploding.
Mine
that was me.
Yeah.
I walked outside and I literally just let out like a blood curdling scream. And my son comes running out. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Just breathe in the fresh air, honey. There's a lot of it.
Killing you, Mom.
Oh my gosh. Well, at least they're looking out for you.
I know one of my kids cares about me.
Oh my, I'm sure I'll be there for sure someday. I know I will. Just like, who loves me today? How many days are you going to go silent? We'll see. I always try to crack a wise joke if they seem like they're mad at me. I'm like, you can't hide it forever. Like, I know it's in there.
For sure. So anything else that you'd like to share with us? Anything that I missed or we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about?
I think it's just been such a good conversation. I feel like it's kind of been here, there, and everywhere, but it's good because it's just two women that knows our purpose and our faith and what we can do with that, no matter, life, business, relationships. So,
Oh, thanks.
Martha's here. Yes, showing earrings. She knows she loves my office space. So all my things are just either hidden somewhere and I can't find them when I'm getting ready to go live. I'm like, Martha, where is it? So it's kind of, so I figured throughout this segment, she's got to show something.
Gonna show some earrings.
No, but it's good. But yes, for on a final note, just know that you can do better in shopping and motivating yourself and being, inspiring and just reaching out to God. Like we can always do better in anything and making a purpose in any move that we make. There is a purpose to everything. And if you see that, then you'll know, okay.
Everything happens for us, not to us. Things happen for us, not to us.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
I love that.
Agreed.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. How can people find you? Because
they can go to SsekoDesigns.com / my name, Danielle_Morrison. I'll give that to you if you want to share that with anyone.
Yeah,
but
I will
also
share
on
it
Facebook. You can find me just Danielle Morrison. My picture usually has lipstick in it. You cannot stray away from that. I have a business page, Sseko Designs with Danielle, and a VIP lounge. Like if you just type in Danielle Morrison, I'm pretty sure you'll be able. Yes, you will be able to find me for sure.
Yeah, and Sseko is Sseko for those of you who haven't.
Yes, it is, and it means laughter, which I love so much.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's beautiful.
Laughter in Lugandan. So yeah.
Those are beautiful earrings.
Yes.
I love
all the earrings. Grease lightning must be over.
I'm
guessing.
For
sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
much.
I
really appreciate your time. And yay, we're going to do this again at some point, I'm sure.
Yes. I would love that so much.
Have a good day.
You too, Chris.
Bye.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And if you're loving on my podcast, then go ahead and like and subscribe and hit the notifications and the bells and whistles on your phone so that you know when I'm around. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook all the time. If you are interested in working with me, I offer a free explore call. It's 30 minutes, and if there's places in your health that seem stuck or you're looking for different answers, if there's places in your faith or other parts of your mental and emotional life that just don't seem like they're getting ahead, if you're unhappy in some places of your world, let's see how we can work together, and that's what this explore call will do. I'm here to help you figure out how to make your best self and how to mash up again, like creating better health and faith and life and work and getting it all put together, even though we still don't have it all figured out, right? So I'd love to hear from you. The link to my schedule is right below. You can always find it on my website, Restore You, RESTORYOU. That's RESTORYOU, restoreyou.com. Talk to you soon. Take care.